Hello all. My name is Ace the Circle and well, this is one of my first videos I've ever made. Besides shit posting, that is. Yeah. Um so we're gonna see how this goes. I was thinking of what to show you guys or what I could put out, and my original thought was I collect magic cards personally, and I felt like it would be good to start with my mythic rares, and that's why we have this today. I'm going to show you all of my mythic rares that I have in my collection. Um, I have a collection over there that we'll go over later in another video, and we'll do that sometime. Um, Before we get into this though, um, yeah, if you see something in the video that you want to know more about, or something in general that you want to tell me, leave it in the comments. I'll look at it sometime. Um, Other than that, uh, yeah, consider subscribing as well. It's entirely free, honestly. And if you want to unsubscribe later, you can do so as well. It's entirely up to you. So yeah, let's get into this. So we're gonna pop this open real quick. This is the front cover, by the way. I'll show the back cover at the end for you guys. Yeah. So the first one we have is Godzilla, the King of Monsters. This card I bought separate from all of my other cards. Some of these I pulled from packs. Some of them I bought them separate. But in the top right here, for those who don't know, that's the mana cost to summon said creature. It requires 3 mana of any color, a red one and a green mana. He has trample, and his lethal damage dealt to a creature you control is determined by the power rather than their toughness. Yeah, so he'd be pretty useful in a green-red deck if you're making one of those. Yeah, so that's Godzilla. Um, my next one I have is Quakebringer. I have two of these actually. I'll show it later, but we won't go over the second one. This one glints. I don't know if you could tell, but this one's a foil, and that's what I mean by that. A foil is a card that glints in the light, and that's why it looks like a rainbow almost. Um, it's also full art as well. If you look at this one right here, this one has a border. This one does not. This one's a full art. This one requires 3 mana of any color and 2 red mana. Um, it also states that your opponent can't gain life, and at the beginning of your upkeep, Quakebringer deals 2 damage to each opponent. This ability triggers only if Quakebringer is on the battlefield, or if Quakebringer is in your graveyard and you control a giant. So my next one that I have is my final finale of Revelation. It requires an X mana, which we'll get to in a second, and it requires 2 blue mana. Draw X cards. If X is 10 or more, instead shuffle your graveyard into your library. Draw X cards, untap up to 5 lands, and you have a no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. And then you exile Finale of Revelations after it's done. Yeah, so that's that one. My next one that I have isn't really a mythic rare, but it's an older card and one of my older ones that I have, so I kept it in here. But it requires 3 mana of any color and 1 green mana. It's an enhancement as well. Any player may play creature and enhancement spells anytime he or she could play an instant. Yeah, so that's what that does. That's Vernal Equinox, by the way. I don't know if I said that or not. My next card that I have is Halvar, God of Battle. He's a legendary creature. He's a god. He requires 2 white mana and 2 mana of any color. Creatures you control that are enhanced or equipped have double strike at the beginning of each combat phase. That is, you may attach target aura or equipment attached to a creature you control to target creature you control. So the aura equipment attached to a creature you control, you can put on your creature, and then I think I actually don't know. That's a good question. I'll have to look that one up later, as I'm not too familiar with that one. Um, the next one I have is the Circle of Loyalty. It requires 2 white mana and 4 mana of any color. It's a legendary artifact. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each knight you control. So if you have multiple knights under your control, it will cost a lot less to cast. Creature you control gain +1/+1. Whenever you cast a legendary spell, create a 2/2 white knight creature token with vigilance. And that's what that does. This one down here is the foretell cost. It will decrease the cost of this for the same. Um, the next one I have is Rankle, Master of Pranks. It's a legendary creature. It's a fairy rogue. He requires 2 mana of any color and 2 black mana. He has flying and haste. Whenever Rankle, Master of Pranks, deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card. Each player sacrifices a creature. Yeah. So, oh, sorry. I was just getting my thinking together. So yeah, this could be useful for like a mono black deck, or if you're doing like multiple color deck that has black in it. Um, my next card I have is Brazen Borrower. It requires 2 blue mana and 1 mana of any color. This is also an adventure card, which stated right here. It has Petty Thief, which is 1 mana and then a blue mana to activate the adventure. Return target non-land permanent an opponent controls to its owner's hand. When you bring it back from exile after the adventure, it has flash, flying. Brazen Borrow can block only creatures with flying as well, by the way. It's a 3/1 as well. Um, oh, we already did those. Never mind. My apologies. My next card I have is Embercleave. It has it requires 4 mana of any color and 2 red mana. It's a legendary artifact. It has flash on it. The spell costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control. When Embercleave enters the battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. So whatever creature you put this artifact on, it gets this third bonus down here. The next page I have, these two are the same. This is Akko Thief of Crowns. This is also Akko Thief of Crowns. I pulled this from a booster box that I got. So I'll read off one of these, but this is a full art version. This is not a full art version, but they're the same character. So Akko Thief of Crowns requires 1 mana of any color, 1 green mana, and then 1 blue mana. Yeah. His abilities are create a food token. Target artifact or creature loses all abilities and becomes a green elk creature with base power and toughness of 3/3. Um, yeah. So that's what he does. Um, this counter in the bottom right is his like deed counter almost. When you use a deed or add a deed, it takes away from that counter. When that counter reaches 0, he dies. So you either want to add and then take away, or then take away all and let it die. It's up to you. It goes either way. My next one is Archangel Avacyn. I'm gonna pull this one out real quick because I'll show you why here in a sec. But Archangel Avacyn, it's a legendary creature. It's an angel as well. It requires 3 mana of any color and then 2 white mana. It has flash, flying, vigilance. Um, when Archangel Avacyn enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. When a non-angel creature you control dies, transform Archangel Avacyn at the beginning of the next upkeep, which I'll show you here in a second. Um, uh, Creatures you control gain indestructible, which means they can't die when she enters the battlefield. If a creature does die that isn't an angel, it changes into Avacyn the Purifier. When this happens, oh, it doesn't require any mana cost because you're just transforming. But she gains flying when this creature transforms into Avacyn the Purifier. It deals 3 damage to each other creature and each opponent, and she's also 6/5 as well. And the bottom right corner. So yeah, that's why I brought this one out. So there's that. There's my other Quakebringer I was telling you about. It's not a foil, if you could tell. Yeah. We're not gonna go over that one because I already did earlier. My next card I have is Avacyn Angel of Hope. Don't get it mixed up with this one. These two are separate, but they're the same character. Avacyn Angel of Hope requires 5 mana of any color and then 3 white mana. It's a legendary creature. She gains flying, vigilance, and indestructible, and other permanents you control have indestructible when she enters the battlefield. She's also an 8/8 as well. This next card is not really a creature card or anything like that, but it's a signed art card from the Kaldheim series that I put in here because I didn't know if it was worth anything, but I thought it was pretty cool, if I'm being honest with you. So that's why I kept it. My next card that I have is Starnheim Unleashed. This is a sorcery card. It requires 2 mana of any color and then 2 white mana. Create a 4/4 white angel warrior creature token with flying and vigilance. As the spell was foretold, create X of those tokens instead. The foretell cost is 2 of the X, which is right there, and 1 white mana. The next one I have is Battle Mammoth. It requires 3 mana of any color and then 2 green mana. It has trample, and it's an elephant as well. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. Yeah. So whenever whenever a permanent you control, becomes the target of a spell or an ability, you draw a card for that. If it's on the field, it's also 6/5 as well. My next one I have isn't a mythic rare, but it's I like the art on it because it flashes a bit. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but it flashes in the light. During Master of Review, it requires 1 black mana and 1 red mana. It's a legendary creature. It's a human shaman. Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, put 1/1 counter on Jury Master of the Review. When Jury dies, it deals damage equal to its power of any target. So that could be useful in some instances. He's also a 1/1, but when he comes onto the battlefield, he becomes a 2/2. Whenever you sacrifice an opponent. Not opponent, but a permanent. My next one I have is Sakashima of 1,000 Faces. He requires 3 mana of any color and then 1 blue mana. He's a legendary creature. He's a human rogue. You may have Sakashima of the 1,000 Faces enter the battlefield as a copy of another creature you control, except it has Sakashima of the 1,000 Faces other abilities. The legend rule doesn't apply to other permanents you control. It also has partner as well, which is good. Yeah. It's also a 3/1, by the way. Yeah. My next card I have is Seagate Stormcaller, kicker. When Seagate Stormcaller enters the battlefield, copy the next instant or sorcery spell with convert a mana cost 2 or less. You cast this turn when you cast it. If Seagate Stormcaller was kicked, copy that spell twice instead. You may choose a new target for the copies. There's a kicker cost right there, but that's how you create more spells with it. It's also a creature. It's also 2/1 as well. Yeah. My next one I have is Anya the Merciless Angel. She's a legendary creature. She requires 3 mana of any color, 1 red mana and 1 white mana. She has flying. Anya the Merciless Angel gets +3/+3 for each opponent whose life total is less than half of his or her starting life total. As long as an opponent's life total is less than half his or her starting life total, Anya has indestructible. So if you keep your opponent under half health, she's indestructible and she gets a +3/+3 counter. My next one I have is Triumphant Reckoning. It requires 6 mana of any color and 3 white mana. This returns all artifacts, enhancements, and planeswalker cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So that's a instant spell. No, a sorcery spell, sorry. That you can use. My next one is Empty the Pits. It's an instant. It requires 2 X mana and 4 black mana. Delve. Each card you exile from your graveyard while casting the spell pays for 1. Put X, which is the X mana, 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield tapped. So that's that as well. There's the other Sakashima Thousand Faces I mentioned earlier. And my final card I have is Profane Transfusion. This is a sorcery card. It requires 6 mana of any color and then 3 black mana. 2 target players exchange life totals. You create an excess colorless horror artifact creature tokens, where X is the difference between the player's life totals. So this could be useful if it's a close game or it's at the end, or you're trying to help someone as well. With that being said, though, that is all my cards. I do apologize for the cut I made earlier. I ran out of space by accident. I didn't mean to. But yeah, those are all of my cards. If you have any comments or anything for me, oh, here's the back, by the way. I think I forgot to show that. But if you have any comments for me, let me know. And consider subscribing as well. That'd really mean a lot to me. With that being said, that's all I got for you today. Yeah, I hope to talk to you someone soon, or some of you guys. I don't know how this is gonna do, but we will find out. Have a good day, and I will see you guys later. Yeah, thank you. See ya.